most favorite classic video games? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News at 8:11. Good morning. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. Again, what are some of your favorite classic video games? Sound off now. I got to tell you, I used to play a lot of video games when I was a kid. Big fan of the original Nintendo. My family got that when I was like 5 years old or something, and I was really drawn to like Duck Hunt, for instance. I don't know why, just being able to point a gun at a screen and blast ducks, that was neat. I remember growing up as well with the, what did they call that? The power pad, where you could plug it into the Nintendo system, and you could do like track and field. That was pretty awesome. So of course Mario Brothers was just a mainstay, right? I mean, that music just brings back, so you could sing this in your sleep, right? I mean, come on. But it wasn't just that. I mean, a lot of you out there may enjoy like PacMan, for instance. And you flash back to playing the actual PacMan arcade games, which, you listen to this. Yeah, that's pretty good. That definitely brings back some memories. So, the difference of generations, I think, is rather fascinating. A recent survey out indicates that different generations have different classic games in mind. And I want to hear from you what your favorite classic video games are. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. I'm going to get the phone lines lit up here, and you can always call in again and have your voice heard. What's your favorite classic video game? Now, just a sampling here of how the generational differences are. Baby boomers, according to a recent survey, ranked Doom as their number one missed game. Doom for baby boomers. That's interesting. Meanwhile, Gen X, you guys apparently like Frogger. So maybe some of those classic Atari games. So that's an interesting differential there, right? I mean, baby boomers playing what was considered the second first-person shooter game, Doom. Because I think the first was Wolfenstein, but that's a history for a different day. But Gen X people like Frogger. I guess that brings back some nostalgia. For millennials, which I'm in this category, didn't think about this until I saw it on the survey, Oregon Trail is what millennials miss playing the most. I don't even know why they included Gen Z in this list, because I think they're still like glued to video games. I mean, they watch hours and hours and hours of people playing live video games on streaming services. It's nuts. But apparently Gen Z, they like playing Club Penguin, and they miss being able to play Club Penguin. I don't even know what Club Penguin is, but what about you? 217-629-7970 is the phone number. What's your favorite classic video game? Good morning. And we'll go with line one. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Dr. Mario, my wife and I used to play it for hours on end against each other. And other than that,
dude, don't even.
Probably.
Don't even.
What?
Don't even, because my wife also insists that we play Dr. Mario still to this day. And she whoops my butt. I think out of the hundreds of matches we've had in Dr. Mario, I may have won once or twice. And I think that's just because she let me win.
Oh, that's a good woman. You need to keep her, take her to Iceland again. Other than that, Metroid and Super Metroid were the ones we played together.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, those are some good ones, too. I remember Metroid back in the day was one of those that, I was fascinated with as a kid on the Nintendo Entertainment System. 217-629-7970. Good morning. What's your favorite classic game?
Classic game, Legend of Zelda.
Oh. Did you ever beat it? Did you actually ever, finish the game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you had to have, like, your cheap magazine that showed you the entire map and give you all the hints and clues.
Dude, anybody who had those, Nintendo published magazines which showed you the maps and everything, anybody who had one of those in my neighborhood when I was growing up was king.
Oh, yeah, you take them to school and kids would take notes off of you. I mean, it was really cool. But no, and then you got to think about it, too. There's another round of classic video games, like when the PlayStation came out.
Oh, yeah.
Another game I was hooked on was like the original Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, just it's amazing the way that, and now all my kids play the games, and I just sit there and stare at the big screen. I'm like, oh my god!
It's wild. It's wild. I can't even imagine video games nowadays. Just above and beyond my comprehension. But for the original Resident Evil, I do remember the first time we rented that from a video rental store. Children, that's a place where people used to go and get videos and video games. But anyways, we went and rented Resident Evil for the PlayStation, and we also rented Seven, the movie, from David Fincher with Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Kevin Spacey. We rented those on the same night, and let's just say we watched Seven, and I'm in middle school this time, scared the bejesus out of me. And then we go and play Resident Evil immediately afterwards. Needless to say, I did not get a wink of sleep that night. Just scary stuff. Your favorite classic video games, 217-629-7970. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm a Gen Xer, but so Atari was definitely, you can't not mention PacMan.
PacMan, that's right. Yep, PacMan's definitely on this list, and something I think just the stylings of PacMan just brings back instant memories.
Sure. And then Pitfall and Space Invaders.
Pitfall, Pitfall's great.
I loved Pitfall. And then when Nintendo came out, it was the only one I had, actually. I never got any more. I kind of grew out of it. Track and Field, Nintendo.
Yeah, Track and Field. I remember playing that myself, and we had the power pad. But I had a friend who had the power glove, and I never really understood what that was used for. So appreciate the call, 217-629-7970. Surprisingly, Sega not getting any love yet here. And I tell you, when we first got a Sega Genesis in my household, when we turned it on and put in the cartridge for Sonic the Hedgehog, and this was the first thing you hear, I was blown away. I was like, did that just say Sega? Whoa! Because before that, the Nintendo, they had like, what was the double dribble? If you guys remember that one, it was like, double dribble. You couldn't even hear what they were saying. It was so just poorly, 8-bit. But Sega not getting much love. However, Buddy Gabe told me that one of his favorites is indeed Mortal Kombat. And I remember on the Sega, you could put in the blood code for Mortal Kombat to get all the blood and all the gore. But it wasn't the case for the Super Nintendo. And that was one ding that the Super Nintendo had against it in my book. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning. If you're talking the old stand-up games from the 80s, I would have to go with the Millipede or Centipede. Was one of my faves. And another thing, I think when you come up to the PlayStation era, wasn't Silent Hill another good one? I think I recall that being another good game.
Silent Hill. Yeah, anytime it's real dense fog, I instantly think of that video game. Yeah.
And then another thing back to the 80s, I guess back early 80s, they made an album back then when they made albums of like Pac-Man sounds and all the arcade videos had a song. So somewhere out there's an old album with nothing but arcade songs on it from the 80s.
I'll have to see if I can find that. It sounds pretty good. Somebody on Facebook saying, born in the 80s, but 007, GoldenEye. And believe it or not, that's actually been around now for 25 years. You probably feel old now. Good morning. You're on WMAY, your favorite classic video games.
Yeah, much like our economy is right now, I'd say the original PlayStation Twisted Metal with the old box truck with the clown on top of it.
Dude, that was a pretty intense game. I mean, I remember playing that, and a lot of fun had on that. Twisted Metal, that's a great one. Appreciate the call.
Morning.
You too. Real quick, you're the last one up. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, last and best, because as you know me, Greg, video games are my bang zone here. So with the NES, you had Mario, you had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, the first one that came out. The second one that came out was a little better, too. With the Super Nintendo, it wasn't that great, in my opinion, because, you had Super Mario 3, and Donkey Kong came out with that. It was kind of like the first Mario Kart era. N64, you already said it, GoldenEye. Super Smash Brothers came out with that, and that one just started a legendary game series. So now we go with the Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog.
You're just breaking it all down.
2, Jurassic Park was actually a good one. But Sega was whenever Madden started coming out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sort of baseball. You had College Slam.
Well, and I remember the Sega also had a Terminator 2 video game that came with a gun. That was a lot of fun too, guys. We could probably talk about this for hours on end. Appreciate everybody chiming in on what your favorite classic video game is, and we may have to revisit this again in the future. Appreciate it. It's right here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's